everybody. Welcome to Lisa's Art Room. Today we're going to be working on our journal. I just need to plug my mic in. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it tonight. Sound is good. We're going to be working on my rescue trash junk journal. So it's getting pretty full already. Y'all come in and say hi. We're currently live on Facebook if you see the little red button at the top left. If not, you're catching a replay. Hey, Lori. Let's see if I can find you guys. Thanks for letting me know sound is good, Dawn. All right, so we're going to do a bookmark page window of some sort. So I made this little bookmark last week sometime, but I might do another one. But I had this piece of paper, I had this junk mail envelope, and it has a nice long window on it. And I was thinking I could make some sort of a windowed bookmark holder out of it with a tag too. So that's the plan. So let's see how that goes. And I'm going to pull this camera up and we can go ahead and get started. Just do that. Hold on one second. Good. Oh, my mic is all twisted. Sorry if that's noisy. I had to drop it and then twist it. Okay. So, let's see. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this guy. I had a couple of things in here I wanted to kind of do as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to get to them. I'll see if there's anything real simple. I did a little bit of stuff, of course, while I was on my little break, which isn't really a break. I'm still doing stuff. But so I covered this bag with just some of this paper. This one's embossed. I'm thinking of making a tag out of it or something to go in here, so I stuck it in there. But this is tissue paper from like a candy package. I thought I'd cover it with that. And then the other side I covered with some of that tissue paper I made using just layers of used tissue paper that you get from, you know, gift packs and whatever. So that's some of that in a brown color. It's actually, I think there's some in here. It's this one here. And so those are getting covered. I've still got one more to cover that I haven't covered yet. What else did I do? I don't think I did anything else in that one. I've got to decide where I'm going to put this bookmark. I really don't know. I'm thinking about one of the front pages. Like, I've got two of them that are just this page in front. I think it's this one and maybe this one. No, it's this one and that one I just did. So I'll probably just stick it in one of these. Whichever one is the least bulky. I had this fortune cookie bag. And then this is when I bought some of those fresh cut paper flowers for my daughter for her birthday. And they're like the type that fold out. They're like pop-up things. But it came with this cool envelope. So I cut that out because it matched this little, this was a plastic kind of bag that you get at Panda Express. But I thought the color worked well. So I'm just going to stick this on here. I don't know if I'll do it today. I might just do it when y'all aren't watching, because honestly it just needs glued. I was kind of debating if I wanted a double pocket or not. Maybe. I don't know. But there's some red on this map, so it carries over okay, I think. There's even a little bit of that yellow. This is the last bag that needs covered. What else did I do while you guys were gone? So I took this ginger candy package. I ended up splitting it in half and put half here and half here for pockets. And then we'll make tags later. So I did that. This is that painting I did. And I was just going to glue it on here. I found this in a magazine. And it's got some flowers that looked kind of similar to those. And I think I'm going to do a tuck out of it. I put it on just a paper bag. And then I had an extra little birdie piece that I cut out of it. This is actually an old wallpaper from, let's see, I tore the label off. Let me see if I can find it. It is, what's it called? It's called Trellis by William Morris. It's an 1862 block printed wallpaper. So that's what that is, which I thought was interesting. And the color, this blue matched this blue. This was a winter scene that I just sanded down from a calendar. And I think I'm going to put that there as a tuck. And then this, I might do a pocket out of it. It could do a pocket on this side pretty easy. It's already got that kind of torn edge look, which I think would be okay for a pocket. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue these three sides. It'll be real quick. Hey, Deborah. Got lots of pockets in this one. Packaging tends to lend itself to pockets pretty well, so it doesn't really surprise me. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get too close to the inside here. And I'm not right on the edge. Let's see how much room I have. Okay, it fits. And that'll be a pocket for something. May not fill it. I may just leave it. Be a secret hiding place. And then this one I just want to do a little side tuck. So these three, is that bird? Yeah, I think I like the bird that direction. I could do it as a belly band, but I think I'd rather have a side tuck. Not too close. Maybe there. So I want glue's oozing. All right, that's cute. Got really lucky how well that matched. And then this little birdie. I think what I'm going to do is when I make the tag or something to go in here, I think I'm going to put him on it. So we're going to leave him for now. I'm just going to kind of tuck him in there and hope he doesn't get lost. And then try to remember to make a tag or something. I'll probably end up using maybe one of these cut down. That's what I'm guessing. So we'll try to, I don't know, I'm going to try to, maybe I could paper clip them. I hate paper clipping them, he's so thin. This is the center page, right? Yeah. We're going to paper clip them. Maybe it won't get tore. Right there. What else did I do? I made this little, just a journaling card. It's out of a cracker box that was sanded. Colored it with a little bit of green ink. I think it was, evergreen. What is it called? Rustic Wilderness. I think that's what I used. And just made a little card to slip in there because I thought it needed something. So I did that. I may end up sanding this one as well because it's kind of just the other half of that lighthouse, so there's really not anything interesting on this side. But you can sand these pages real easy and just leave a little bit of color. So I'll probably sand that. I'm not going to do it now, so it's really messy. So this was the 2 map pages that I had on here, and I just went ahead and folded it down on one side to make a little pocket. We might do some decorating on that later. What else did I do? Still with this one. Let me see. I'm going to compare the thickness. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it on this one. Although I kind of wanted it in the front. This is going to be, I think, my front one. Not that it really matters. Maybe I'll do it in this one. All right. Map page. Did I do anything with that? Nope. Okay. I already showed you this one. It's not going to be super bulky. But this one is significantly thinner. I'm going to do it in that one. All right. And let's see, what did I do in this one while we were gone? Nothing there, nothing there. So that I already did before. I haven't decided if I'm going to sand that lighthouse. Maybe. I just put this little bird cutout on here. I thought it worked on that page. And I might have done that off camera. It's a painting that I thought I don't know if those are limes or avocados. I think they're supposed to be limes, is my guess, but it matched this real well, so put that there. Nothing there. This I just stuck here because I might make a tag or something out of it. And nothing there. Alright, I painted these two. It's kind of painted, kind of stenciling. I had a stencil. It's a crappy stencil. Don't buy them, honestly. They're the brand. I got these on clearance. They're folk art, and they were like $1 at Michael's. And the stencils are pretty and all, but they are so thin. Like really, really, really thin. And they tend to bend real easy, and they don't hold up good. They definitely are not essential stencil. But, you know, for $1, I was like, okay, I'll buy it. But what I did is I just took the stencil, they're just plain, and I went ahead and put it on there with just some white gesso, and then I painted the image over. So I did that one, and I did this little bird bath, and I just added a top to it and painted them. So I'll show you those up close. So I just made them kind of look like bluebirds. Added a little bit of water at the top because there's nothing on that stencil. It's just, it doesn't have like a top, but I added a top to it. So that's what I did off camera. Those are those 2 pockets I had. One is sewn, one is not. This one is sewn, this little book page pocket, and this one I just glued and made fake stitches on it. So we're going to put those somewhere. I don't know where. I'm thinking maybe these pages, but I want to decorate them or something. So that'll happen later, but I'm kind of trying to keep y'all up with whatever I'm doing, because I can't do it all on camera, unfortunately. So this is some more of that wallpaper, and I thought this might make some good tags. And I've got these 2 that have really short pockets. So I'm thinking of making a tag or something maybe there, or I don't know. but I stuck them in here because it's really pretty and I like it. So that's what that's for. We'll do something with it later. I think that's all I did. Okay, so you're caught up as to what I did off camera. And now we're going to make a bookmark window page. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one or if I'm going to use the one we make today. So I'm going to start out with making the bookmark. Now I've got it kind of started, but I just want to show you the steps. So I may not use this one, but this one will all this window. But I don't think that would be a huge problem, or I may just put this one somewhere else. I don't know. I haven't decided. I stabbed myself with my pen. It's not bleeding, but it kind of stung. All right. So I got to figure out how to do this. So for making the bookmark, I'm just using one of these junk mail things. These are nice for making things out of. If you guys get this junk mail, I've tried to stop it from coming, but they're just ignoring my do not send thing. But they sand off real easy, so they're good for covering and stuff. You could just cover it like it is, but it is slippery, and sometimes they don't cover real easy slippery. But if you have some 320 grit sandpaper, this is an old piece, all you have to do is just sand it like that, okay? And then get yourself a paper towel and spritz it with just a little tiny bit of water. I usually just kind of knock that off in the trash, and then you can just kind of wipe it off, and you've got a nice clean spot. Okay, now this has been cut into 2 pieces like this because these are good bookmark size, and I've sanded them for the most part. I didn't sand that one because I was going to show you sanding, and then I found a whole one in my junk. Cleans off real easy, and then you've got a nice plain card. But a damp paper towel will get up all that dust. If you're going to do a bunch of those, guys, wear a mask because it is very dusty ink. If you get a bunch of that on your sandpaper, just a damp paper towel or a damp rag, and your sandpaper will be good because it tends to build up on it. I don't know what that is. Glue or something. All right, so now I have this. So what I did with this is I covered it. Like I said, I probably didn't need to sand it off, but I just prefer to. I don't know. So then take your bookmark base and get some paper. Could be book page paper, could be magazine paper, whatever you like. I have a book page sitting out here. Where did I stick them? Okay, well, I thought I did. Oh, there they are. It's like, where did I put the book pages? So the yellow is supposed to mean, I checked it for bad words. That's what it's supposed to mean. We'll see if it's accurate. Anyway, so this will fit on the writing section on the inside. So I'm just going to cut off that outside. I forgot to do it on this one, but no biggie. Which that's the one we're going to use today because this is going to be wet and I didn't want to wait for it to dry. So I'm just going to line this up so I can remove the edge. I do it in my trimmer, but it's kind of thin book page and I don't trust it not to rip. Honestly, I don't trust this not to rip it either, but we'll try. All right, there. So I'm just going to trim off the edges because I don't want the blank spot on there. It actually dried pretty fast. I did that one yesterday, and it dried faster than I thought it would. But I did want to use a good glue, so I did use Fabri-Tac on it. I chose Fabri-Tac because I didn't want to just use a glue stick because I'm not sewing it and it may not hold up well. And I didn't want to use PVA because it's a wet glue and it tends to wrinkle if the paper's too thin. So that's why I'm going with Fabri-Tac. And it doesn't quite fit this bookmark, so I'm probably just going to leave it and use mostly the top area there. Chances are I'll put a hole or something there anyway. We want this part, not that part. So we're just going to cover this with glue. I'm only going to do, well, I'll do both sides. It won't take that long. I don't want to use this one because it's going to be wet for a little bit. I'm not going to bother spreading it out because when I put it on here, it should be able to be spread out enough. So I'm just kind of trying to line it up so I don't have to trim that side. And then grab my little thingy. And just the act of doing that should spread that glue out pretty good. Especially Fabri-Tac because it's so slimy it kind of moves easy. So got one side done, and then usually if I have any hanging off, I'll go ahead and trim it. Because once I fold this side over to this side, it'll be harder to trim that side. It might get my scissors. It might get my scissors goopy, but we're gonna hope not. So I'm just gonna trim it right along that edge. If I can get my scissors to hit the right spot. It's totally not glued there. Oh my goodness, seriously. I missed the corner. There. Hard to get your scissors to do it if it just keeps moving. You could probably use the ruler too. But sometimes when it's this thin of a piece, it rips. Try not to cut the actual bookmark. That one piece just does not want to cut. Yeah, that's cookie. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and fold it first. So I'm just going to push down and fold it. Okay. You want to get that crease in there before you put the glue. It's just easier. Right, and then we're just going to add the rest of the glue. And you could do this with two pieces just as well. It's just, I think it's easier just to fold it. So I am making what I kind of jokingly call a bookmark. And you will see why. In a second. All right, so there's that. And we've already got that fold there, so I'm just gonna push it from that side. So it's nice and on the edge. So at least one of the edges will be nice and clean. And then ideally wait for this to dry, and because that's already trimmed, I know I can just cut it right on there. It's totally still wet, but that's all right. We're just going to go for it. Just wanted to show you how to do it. And then the edges, you can just kind of crease it. Let me get the glue off my scissors. Got an alcohol pad sitting here. Now, if you do clean your scissors, make sure you clean them away from the blade so that you don't cut yourself. You know, don't push in. Try not to. Always push away. This is a very thin. That glue off very well. Okay, I'll just give it a dry. Just cut my fingers off. All right, so I've got that little crease there now, so I can see where to cut this one. I could also wait for it to dry and use sandpaper. That would work too, probably. As long as it's glued well, it will work. But you can see that edge very easily. Okay, so then you've got that. This one's still a little bit damp feeling, so we're not going to use it today. We're going to use the one I already made. It looks pretty good. They're not too dirty. All right, so we have this one I made the other day. And I have some books that I cut out. So in my magazines, you often get ads that have magazines or books for sale. Okay, so I have a billion, well, not quite a billion, but I have a whole bunch of books that I have fussy cut out from a magazine ad. Okay, and what I'm going to do is cover this with books because I thought that would be fun. I might debate if I want to put that cardboard back down. Try to get a cleaner piece so it's not so ugly to look at. I just don't want glue all over the place. All right, so let's see what we got here. I don't know which magazine this was. It could have been my Mother Earth News. It could have been something else. It's probably a little of both, honestly, because several different things. I think we'll not do... I'm going to try not to do the scary books. Paula Deen's cookbook. What is this one? Easy Entertaining. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. A lot of how-to books in this one. The other one I did one already. I did not, all fictional type books. This one I might do more entertaining or how-to. This is self-sufficient. I don't know what that one's about. This one's a little bit big. Let's see. Scything. What is scything? Is that like cutting down your plants with a scythe, I guess? I don't think I've ever done that. It sounds kind of scary. Storybook. What is that one? Root clearing, made from scratch. I like that one. Permaculture. 2-hour sewing projects. So I'm just going to put a little mixture of books on here. I don't know. How many did I do on the last one? Looks like I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 16. I think I got 16 here of the same category. Maybe. Homesteading, story, another fictional story, Householder's Guide to the Universe. Living on Less. So I don't know about colors or how I'm going to fit these yet. I might try to make them look interesting. I'm not sure about this one. I think it's a fictional, but it's like, it says grace. I don't know. I'm sure it's religious or something. Don't bump the glump. Sounds like a comedy. Complete bartender. I don't think so. Cheese making. That could be fun. Lard. That's funny. What's that? South Beach diet. You cunts. Go green, live rich. Maybe. We'll debate on that one. Got a bunch of interesting books here. Rachel Ray. This one's pork. So this is going to be kind of country survivalist themed. Flat and crowded. Is it a garden? I can't tell. It's so little. Some of them I can't tell what they are. What's that one? Homegrown and handmade. Money saving meals. Jimmy Buffett. Weight Watchers maybe. What's this one? Oh, it's a kid's book. Alright, that's probably enough. I'm trying to see if I missed any. Country living type books. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2. I don't know if I want, it's so big. I'm not sure if I want to go that quite that large. It's a little bit large. We'll go with root clearing. That should be enough. If not, I'll grab a couple more. Alright, so let's go with that. So I'm just going to start placing them kind of randomly. Alright, let's see. My zoom's good enough. So much closer on my iPad. Alright, we're going to use Fabri-Tac because these are magazine images, so they are going to be very thin. It would warp with a wet ink. So let's see, what do I want kind of near the top? I like country living. And maybe something contrasty. Maybe that one. Alright, let's put this one underneath. So this is why I called it a bookmark, because it's a whole bunch of books on a bookmark. And I was like, you know what, that's kind of funny. I'm going to not go too close to the top just in case I want to put a hole there. I think I'll go about there. They are very slippery with the Fabri-Tac on there. You could use a glue stick, but like I said, it's not 100% guaranteed to last. If you're going to coat it with something, I guess it's not as risky. I'm not sure how much. It's like I need to push them down just a little bit better, but I'm trying to keep them from sliding. It's definitely oozing. Where's my glue rag? Oh, there it is. And let's go with maybe a blue. How much twisting? I'm going to try to lay them out. I don't want them all just exactly the same, you know? So maybe that one there, maybe this one up a little bit higher. Otherwise it'll just end up being boring. That's not contrasty enough. Let's go with that one. Do I want to turn some of them the other way? Not sure. Pork and lard. Maybe something like that. I'm worried if I don't go ahead and lay them out that I'm going to run into not having enough room or something. What do we got that's blue? There's a good blue one. And something like that. Maybe a little more turned. Maybe like that. Leave a little bit of gap there. I'm going to put some writing on here too, so. No. Let's leave a little gap. Might not need all this. Made from scratch. And Householder's Guide to the Universe. That just sounds fun. Not sure what it's about. That's feasible. All right. So we're just gonna try and put these in that way. I'm sure I'm getting way too much glue on each one. I'm just gonna move it down a little bit. Did I have that on the outside? I have no idea. So I just thought this would be fun. And it's not hard to find these little magazine images or book images. Some are books, some, I don't know if they're all books. They might be all books. I can't remember. I have no idea. All right, so we have the pork one underneath. No idea. I keep picking them up and then I don't know which way they were laying. It's not a huge deal. But as long as I get it somewhat aesthetically pleasing. So we have a book page and books. And then I've got a way to make ties that I'm going to show you today, which is interesting. So I'm using bag handles from gift bags or just the large paper bag. Probably should have done the other one on top, but that's all right. So I'll show you that in a second. Let's go over a little bit. We're just pretty much ending up going back and forth. It doesn't really matter. I think it'll look okay. So the back, I'm probably just going to leave plain. Could put some writing space on it, but I think I'm just going to leave it plain. Stringing everywhere. Let's put this one on the bottom this time. Tired today. I don't know why. Do that one there. Now I will probably coat this when it's done with maybe the microglaze and some beeswax. I'm not sure. You could do a varnish. I could do satin. I don't like a matte look on it. I tried the one I did first, and I tried putting a matte finish on it, and it didn't look good. The books just kind of, I don't know, they got very boring looking. It was just too matte. I might need one more. I don't know. It's kind of small. I could put root cellar there. What if I put root cellar? I think I'm going to put one more. Yeah, too much of a blank spot there. I'm just going to try to fill in that blank spot a little bit. Possibly put one more at the top, but I think it's going to be okay because I'm going to have a ribbon there. All right. And then ideally you want to wait for all that Fabri-Tac to dry and just double check your edges of your books. Make sure that they're all down. There's like a little spot right there. Just want to make sure that they're nicely flat. Nothing sticking up. I'm not worried about the Fabri-Tac showing because I am going to coat it with something. That one's over the edge just the tiniest bit. I think I'm going to trim it. Just hanging on the edge there. So right now I'm just double checking that everything is sufficiently glued. Looks pretty good. All right, so there we go. A bookmark. And then we're going to put, don't close it because I still need it. We're going to put read on it because I thought, why not? So I've got some letters here. I had to go through my magazine images and try to find something that had READ. So I came up with this one. And I tried to get a color that would look okay, but, you know, that was kind of a little more tricky because, you know, I'm trying to find letters that might not be easy to find. So, R-E. And it doesn't have to say read, it could say something else. But I thought read fit. So, got my letters. These are just random. I just picked words that had big letters. It didn't have to say anything that made sense because I knew I was just going to use it to cut out letters with. Where'd my D go? D, where'd you go? Did I put you back? I don't know where I put it. Hold on. There it is. I lost my D. Okay. So we're going to take our READ and we're going to put it over the top. But before I do that, I am going to make these sit back just the tiniest bit. And then I might ink the edges of those. So I'm going to take, I don't want to use white. What do I want to use? I think I'm going to use, I don't know what I did last time. Honestly, I might have just sanded it. That's a possibility. But if I did, I had to wait for it to dry. Alright, I'm going to use some sort of a light glaze. So let's try a little teeny bit of maybe off-white. What do you got? I've got some off-white. This is some vintage white, which is very much kind of book page color. I gotta be careful I don't go too far. Hopefully that's dry enough. Ideally, I would probably wait for that to dry a little bit longer before painting on it. But we're gonna give it a shot. Let's see if we can't do it. Now, you could sand it and get the same kind of effect, but I'm worried that magazine images, the ink sands off so easily. I don't know that I want to go that route because I'm too worried. Hopefully I can do this without making them warp and they're glued down enough, because I definitely don't want them warping. So we're going to use a brush. We're going to use just a tiny bit of white in water, but not too wet. So I'm going to try to make it thin, but not super wet on my brush, because I don't want it so wet that it just warps it. And then I'm just going to go over it ever so slightly. Hope it doesn't start warping. So if you're not sure how much paint you're getting off, just take a piece and just go like that and see how wet it looks on there. It should look almost like a dry brush. So we're trying not to warp it too much. I just don't want these images to be quite this strong. I want them to kind of be in the background. So the lightest coat of paint I can get away with. You could probably do gesso, but gesso is made to cover, so it might cover even more than this. This is just Folk Art multi-surface satin, so it's also not matte like gesso. So it's got a tiny bit of shine to it. The shine doesn't really show up when you're doing this though. If you're doing it real thin like this, you don't really get that satin shine. So there. So now we have it toned down. Okay? So it's hard to do when it's zoomed in. So it's just toned down a little bit. I think that'll be enough. Just trying to reconnect. Okay, there. So just a little. So it just makes it kind of blend in better. Wash and brush out in water. Okay, and now we're going to give that a little dry because I don't know if it's wet. It shouldn't be super wet, but it might be. So let me dry it real quick. Where's that heat tool one? I use my Tim Holtz one because it doesn't blow as much. My blow dryer, I think my blow dryer dries faster than this Tim Holtz heat tool, but the Tim Holtz heat tool doesn't have the air, so it doesn't blow everything all over the place. But I think it takes longer to dry. I just want to make sure it's not wet before I try the next step. It's going to warp a little bit because I'm heating it. All right, that should be good. Lay it back down. It will once it cools. Here, we're going to give it a little bit of help. Almost. All right. So now, hopefully our letters will show up a little bit better. Yeah. So I'm going to ink them too, so that should help. I'm going to use some black or brown. I think I'll go with the black. I'm going to use archival because these are magazine images and they will most definitely, normal ink would just wipe right off of them. They're really small though. They're so tiny. It's going to be a challenge. Are you guys focused? I hope you're focused. I can't tell. I can't see the screen because it's too close. I think you're focused. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on these just to kind of make them stand out more. All right, so there's my R. My E. A. And you could do this project just to have. It doesn't have to be for a journal necessarily. It could be just fun to have. Let me see if the D looks a little crooked. It's not terrible. I think it's all right. It's a tiny bit wider at the top. Okay, so now we've got the reed on there. We're going to glue that on. All right, back to our fabric tags. That looks pretty good. I'm just kind of altering the direction a little bit on each one. And this probably shows up better for me than it does for you because nothing ever shows up great on the camera. was zoomed, but it's not as much as I wanted. Okay. This way. And D. Okay. So now we have read on there, which I think is fun. All right. Now we're going to put a hole in it. Well, actually we're going to, well, we'll go ahead and put the hole and then I'll seal it after. And then we got to make our holder. We have time. We got an hour. I think we can do it. I think I can do it. Where is my crocodile? There it is. All right, so I'm going to use my crocodile. And we'll go with the bigger one. And let's see if we can find the center of this so I don't have a crooked hole. It looks like it's about 2 inches, so I think about right there. All right, so a hole. And I'm gonna put the eyelet in a second. I'll go ahead and get it out, but I want to coat this first. Hopefully it's dry enough. Ideally I would wait, but I think it'll be all right. Let's see, how about, we'll go with maybe black. Go with this antique black color. I'll do that in a second. Let's coat this. Find something to put on. What is this? Alright, so I'm going to use, I think I'm just going to use microglaze. I'm trying to remember how matte it was. I don't think it's super matte. I feel like it had a little bit of a shine to it. It says it's, I don't know if it says if it's matte. It doesn't really say, but it's not super matte. This is from Tim Holtz. It's basically a water resistant sealer. It's basically petroleum jelly. But I gotta put a glove on because I am allergic to petroleum. So prefer not to touch it too much. And then I have a rag for this somewhere. Here it is. It looks like my glue rag, but it's not. I'm not highly allergic to petroleum, but it makes me itch. It makes me itch crazy. So I might actually do this on paper. Here. It's going to be all over this silicone thing, and then it's going to be a pain when I try to wash it. I'll grab one of my older cardboard pieces. Here, I'll use this one. So you just put a little bit on and then you just rub it on. And all it does is it seals everything in. You can distress ink this first. That probably would have been smart. All right, I haven't done the edges yet. Hold on. Let me just wipe that off a little bit. I forgot to ink it. I wanted to ink around it in black. Grab my ink. At least it's archival. Make sure there's none there. If there's that stuff on there, it probably won't go on. But I think it's okay. I didn't get the edge yet. Forgetting a step. Go ahead and ink it because it'll look better. The archival should not be too affected by that microglaze. Let's do the other side You could use black or brown. The brown would work too. I'm probably getting that stuff all over my hand, aren't I? I'll find out later if I start itching like crazy. I'm just going to clean my hand off real quick. I wasn't always allergic to this stuff, but I used to work in the movie industry making props, and basically I handled EPS foam too much, and it caused me to have a petroleum allergy. I should be wearing 2 gloves. All right, we're just going for it. Don't really have to do a lot. It goes pretty far, but you just put it on and buff it out. I'm not going to do anything to this side. I'm just going to leave it. You could put something on there. You could put a sticker or something, you know, a long picture if you could find something, but I'm just going to leave it. It only needs one side. Alright, I give up. I'm trying not to break out hives. There. Okay. Be smart. Oh my gosh. My glue's about to fall. So this will just make it water resistant so that if it was to get wet or anything, it wouldn't fall apart. I tend to prefer to coat my bookmarks. Actually, I was going to round those corners. Let me do that real quick. Where is my corner rounder? Where's my wipe I just had? There it is. Get some of that off before I touch my corner rounder. I got a paper towel rack here. There it is. All right. This isn't super thick. Those ad cards, they're not crazy thick. They're thick enough that they're sturdy, but they're not like my cracker boxes. Definitely thinner than my cracker boxes. So I've not had any issue with my corner rounder getting through that, whereas my cracker box gives me a little more trouble. So you can see all the oil looking stuff. It reminds me of petroleum jelly. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of stuff like that. But anyway, you just put it on with a rag and then just pick a clean section of the rag and you can kind of buff it a little bit. It's not a big deal, but I usually just buff it a little bit. And now it's nice and water resistant. And once that dries, it won't bother me or you. It just has to dry. And I don't know how long it takes to dry. Typically after it dries, I tend to take my beeswax and put a coating of beeswax on it too, mostly because I like the way it feels. This one I did the other day, and this one I did not put a hole, and I did put a coating of beeswax on it. It's a little bit more shiny, I guess, but it's still got a shimmer with that microglaze, and that just keeps it from falling apart on you later if it gets wet. I might put beeswax on it later. Right, I'm trying to see if it's dry enough. It's not going to get everywhere. I think it's all right. Let me take my gloves off because my fingers are sweating. If I can get them off. Oh my gosh. Barely. All right. So hopefully that's okay. It's not too bad. All right, so that's how I would do that. Now you want a string or yarn or fabric or whatever you're using. since I am trying to use recycled, repurposed stuff and not things I bought, granted, you could still have a scrap of fabric or something that you were going to throw in the trash, and that would still qualify as keeping with the junk journal rules. But I have these that I made. What time is it? These are basically, they remind me of raffia. They're not raffia. At least I don't think they are. There was a couple of them that kind of really felt like raffia, and then some of them felt like just straight up craft paper. I've got all different ones because you never know what you're going to get when you unroll these. Every one I unrolled was different. Sometimes I would get just straight up craft paper looking stuff. Sometimes I would get this, which was a lot more like raffia or something. It's more plant feeling. Some of these I dyed. This has been dyed with green. But they're very thin. Sometimes it's only one piece. Sometimes it's multiple pieces, like this one. This one had some Chinese writing in there, which is interesting. I might use that one today. Got a couple of those out of one. And then I colored all of these. So I have some colored ones. And I just used a little bit of Distress Spritz spray. I used this, what's it called? Dilutions ink spray. It's one of the Ranger products. But I did a few that were colored, and then when they were colored, I just, when they were wet with the stuff and gloves on, I re-rolled them like that, just twisting them so that they'd go back into this kind of a shape. Not hard to do, but sometimes, see, this looks more like raffia to me. I don't know what it is, but this one was in with this one. So you don't know what you're going to get. But all you have to do is you take off your bag handle. So when I was making the pages and stuff out of the bags, I had several of these bag handles. There's going to be one side that's glued, so you'll have to cut that off because there's usually a little bit of glue on that end. And then you should be able to just twist it the other direction and it will start coming apart. Now, if it's fighting you, you can wet it. You'll have to wait for them to dry after, but you can wet it and they will fall apart too. But they don't fall apart like completely. They fall apart just separating. So this one, I can't tell if it's going to be one. It almost feels like it is. Like I said, some of them are just one, some of them are many. And I don't, still got glue there. I don't know why. I don't know, why they're all different. I had one that even on the same bag, one was kind of cool like that, and one was just craft paper. I was like, okay. So anyway, but you get the idea. They're fairly easy to roll apart. But I like them because they look like a textured paper. And they're pretty sturdy. So this is just a way you can get kind of a fabric-y stuff. Okay, so that one's just plain. I'll probably dye this one because it's just plain. And then I'll end up with these little type pieces. Okay. And I'll be using these in random places. But we're going to use this colorful Asian print one because why not? So I just need a little piece of it. Try to get some with some of this print on it. I think about that much probably. I gotta put my grommet in there first. Let me do that. So save those bag handles because I'm gonna fix that later. You get all kinds of cool stuff out of them. So let's put this in here if I can hold on to it. And what are we on? I think that's right. grommet on there, or eyelet, not grommet, eyelet. Say the right word. And then we're going to put this on, I think this side. Hold back up. You could just glue it, or you could tie it. It's not super bulky. Try to save half of it. But I like the texture. Let's see if I can tie it. I'm trying to get the writing to show in the front as best I can. I might throw a little bit of glue on that just to hold it in place. A little bit tighter. All right, let me throw just a drop of glue on that knot. Probably just some art glitter. It'll just help keep it from coming apart. Okay, so there we go. Fun bookmark. Now we got to cover that. I don't know if I'm going to get to cover it. I'm going to try to make the page first, and then we'll think about covering it. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do is, so how I want this to work is I want it to go into a slot like this, and then have a space behind it for a tag. So I want to cover the slot section, the mirrored section, on the inside. So I got to open this up. I'm going to end up cutting it anyway because it's too long. So I'm just going to cut it. I'll glue it back together. I'm just going to take a slither off because it's just the easiest thing to do. And this one I'm probably going to make shorter than this, so I'm just going to take a slither off for now. Okay. And then what I want to do is have a tag and this part separate. So I want this part to be covered. So I'm going to use another envelope. Okay, so another piece of envelope, and you get these envelopes and some of them will have this interesting paper. So we're going to use one of these, kind of like that one. I'm going to try this interesting hexagon one. Is it big enough? Yeah, I think it's big enough. All right, so we're going to sacrifice this one. All I want is this back piece with the printed paper, because we're not using scrapbook paper, so we got to have something. And I can keep this. I can still maybe make something out of it. We'll see. I'll keep it for now. If not, I'll throw it away. But you get all kinds of different patterns and stuff that are interested in these. So even if the window's not interesting, you might find that the pattern inside is. So for this, I'm going to cut it so it fits behind this window. And I want the base to go where I want this to stop. So I want this to go into a slot here, and then I want it to stop about there. So I want to make sure that I make a stopper here, which will probably just be glue. or maybe just the fold. I think I'll just put the fold there. I don't know how to do this. This didn't have a plan per se. But we're going to stop it about there, I think. So that's where we'll make our fold. And then I want to make this slot. So I'm just going to cut out a slot. But first I'm going to reinforce it so it's a little stronger. So I'll probably just use this because I don't need this to be quite this long. Do I have enough? Well, I can use this piece here. So I'm just going to use this piece. It's kind of doubled up for the most part. We're going to just make it nice and strong. It's kind of like at least 2 layers. And I'm just going to put it behind there. Now, I do have a lot of that acetate there. Let's see how much is loose. I think it's all right. So glue is going to fight me, which is a problem. I'm trying to see if I can peel any of that off. I'm going to peel some of it off if I can. I don't know if I can. I want as much of the regular material as possible. So I'm going to try to get this to stick. There's a thick spot. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It shouldn't show because it'll be on the front. It doesn't even need to be that long. Let me cut this extra off before I glue that. There. I'm going to let this dry for a second once I put it on here. This is just where I'm going to cut my slot. Just a little bit of reinforcement there. So let's let that dry for a second. I want my pocket going this way. So for this side, I want it not quite this deep because this is obviously bigger than my page because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we only need it to be like 4 3/4. 4, 5. We might go. We'll see if 5 will fit. Let me see. I might can get 5 in there. Not sure how I'm securing this yet. Haven't got that far in my thinking. All right, so I'm gonna fold this over about here. So we're gonna leave like a, I don't know, it looks like about a 1/2 inch, maybe an inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this. Let's see, both sides. But I want to reinforce this edge, so I'm only gonna trim some of it. Let's go ahead and trim the bottom because I can get this bottom edge straight first. Now this side doesn't really need reinforced. I should just be able to, I'm going to fold over this top, so I'm going to leave extra. I'm going to straight about a 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be exactly a 1/2 inch, but a little bit extra to fold over. Where'd it go? There it is. Like I said, I haven't really planned this out, so don't ask me how it's going to turn out. I have no idea. I haven't made one. We're winging it. All right, and then we're going to cut this and leave a little extra. So let's take off about, I only need enough to glue over to reinforce it, so an extra, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so. I just like to reinforce my edge whenever I'm going to use it as a pocket tuck. safer. Let me get this bookmark out of my way before I accidentally cut it or something. All right, so for this, all right, debating on which side I want to fold first. I think I want to fold this side first. So I'm not going to score it, although it's tempting. So I'm going to try and fold it straight. Not going to the window. Almost, but not quite. We want room to glue our piece of paper behind there. I might actually glue it inside there. So that's going to go like that, and then we're just going to match this side to that. Actually, debating if I just want to draw a line. I could try folding it exact, but I don't know if I can. I'm going to draw a line. Let's see if I can get it on that line. Oh, that's thick. Oh, still had the thing on there. See if I can get it off. Ooh. I didn't know it had that lip on there still. It's going to be too thick. Might could heat it off. No, we're going to go for it. Hopefully I can bend it. It's thicker than I thought. I was like, whoops. On that line. So not on that line. What? Where is my line? Oh, it's on the inside. Dummy. I'm like, I lost the line. It's because it's on the inside. That's fine. We're just going to guess. Yeah, it's totally fighting me where that's so thick. Well, that's inconvenient, but not much I can do now. Just try to get it as best I can. I had no idea that was doubled there. Forgot that was the edge of the envelope. I'm used to cutting it off. All right, let's see if that matches up. Pretty good. Tiny, tiny bit off, but I got this weird edge because of the paper. Chances are I'm going to cover it with something anyway. I don't know. I haven't decided. I can get some more of that off. So try not to use a part of your paper that has the edge on there. For your envelope. That definitely was not the goal. Alright. So that's going to be like that. These will be glued down. And then inside this is our paper. I shouldn't need all of this. Take some of that off. And I'm going to take this. This is like a weird thing going on there. It has to be wide enough. I don't think I can. Yeah, I have to leave most of that, unfortunately. All right, we're just going to glue this down because it's not glued. Didn't realize I had so much that was... Yeah, I'm just going to glue it. I'm sitting here debating, can I pull it off without it ripping? Chances are I can't, so I'm just going to glue it. And then I'm going to cut it, because I don't need all that. But I do need preferably a straight edge to put on that side. So we're just going to cut it on this line. That should be relatively straight. Okay. So this is going to go behind here, like this. I just want to make sure I'm got enough space outside the acetate that hopefully I can glue down. It doesn't like acetate, so right there. That's good. I like that. And then we just want to make sure our bookmark fits in there still. I haven't cut the slot yet, but the slot's going to be just bigger than this, so I think about maybe to here and here. Does that look about even? Not quite. Let's go over this way just a little bit. Maybe there and there. And then it's going to fit in the slot, which I haven't cut, and then it should stick out just above because I haven't glued this down yet. I'm seeing where it stops. Oops, sorry, I'm too high. I gotta fold that over too. Like, that should be good. So we're gonna see if this stops in the right spot. Yeah, I think it's okay. So we gotta fold this edge. I'm gonna cut it here. And then I'm gonna cut off that back piece. So I want this front edge to fold right there where I want it to stop. So I'm just gonna fold that up. About that much should be good. Miter this corner because I don't need all that bulk. Okay. And then this I'm going to cut off right where it should glue to the back. So we don't need it to fold over to the front, so we'll just cut it. You know what? Oh, yeah, I'll mark it. I was debating, but I'll mark it. I'm trying to cut into my envelope. Okay. So that's going to glue on the back here. That should be good. That should be good. This is going to be our pocket. Make sure there's nothing going to be in my way. Debating if I want this on the outside or the inside. I think it would be better on the outside. Maybe. All right. So if I put it on the outside, I got to glue that piece down. It's got a weird edge there. I'm just going to cut it. It's not perfectly straight, but most of it doesn't show, so it doesn't really matter. But I do want it not to have that. It's got a weird bump. Take off that bump. Okay. So this is going to go here. But I want to cut the slot first. Don't let me forget to cut the slot. I just want to make sure what will interfere the least with my pocket. So this should be attached to that, and then this should be attached over the back, and that will interfere, I think, the least with my pocket. Yeah, I think that's logical. All right, so let's cut our slot. So, like I said, I think I want the slot to be about this high, and then to those two lines. I'm trying to find a straight edge I can cut this on. And try and stay somewhat straight. I can kind of tell from the window. Think about, I'm going to go a little higher than that line. Think about there. I can't see the other side. That's okay, I can go by this. So I'm just going to cut a little slot from point to point. Now remember, I'm going through a couple of layers here. There's nothing under there that ain't supposed to be. So I'm just going to cut one and then move it ever so slightly. And cut another one. I'll see if that looks big enough. Maybe a little bit more. I want it big enough that I can fit the, I'm going to go like 1/8 of an inch. I can fit that bookmark in there. I think about that much. So now I'm just going to cut where I put that line. Should be able to just cut that by pushing. Cut this one by pushing. See if it comes out of there. Okay, so now we have our little slot to erase all of those crazy lines. Pencil marks everywhere. I don't know what I'm going to decorate this with yet. Something. I mean, it's fairly plain. I could probably even use stencils, honestly. So I don't have to glue more on top of it, which would be nice. So I may end up decorating it fairly simple. There's a possibility that would sand off. Let's see. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Let's see if it will. And if it won't, I'll just cover it with something. Not very well, because I'd have to go a little too harsh. So, but I'll cover it with something later. Okay. So we've got our slot. Let's check and see if our bookmark fits before I do anything else. We'll do this fold so I can see where it's supposed to stop. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So our bookmark fits. And then we want to put our paper in there. And I said I wanted to glue that one on the outside. So this one's going to go here. So I'm going to put glue there. Oh, it's just thick there. It's like, why is it weird? All right, let's make sure that the color. Okay. I want to make sure it's above my slot. The bottom isn't as important, really. But I do want it ideally as close as I can get it. So I'm going to try gluing this first. I think that's a good spot to start. I'll just glue this lip down to that. That'll hold it in place. And it will give us our tag edge. Well, our tag pocket edge. Or journaling card pocket, whatever it's going to be. I don't know yet. Something. Oops. Don't get crooked. Stay. Ideally, I wanted to double check and make sure it's kind of sort of straight. Because it is hexagons. It's pretty straight. Try and quite get glue in there. In there. There. All right, so there's that piece. And then this piece will be glued for the other side of the pocket. And it doesn't have to be super snug, but I don't want the bookmark moving all over the place. So I think I'm going to put the glue just right there where that acetate is. Let me just double check. Yeah, if I'm just to the right of that acetate, that should be a good spot. It's going to move on this side a little bit. I could put one more line of glue there so it doesn't move quite as much. Oh, well, I'm going to put one more line where this acetate is. I'm just kind of using the acetate for a guide because it's there. Gosh, this glue is not cooperating. I'm just going to go along here and put a little more glue. Not too wide though. I'll glue that down. That should make that not quite as far over. All right, that's good. And then I'll put glue here. So I think about right here. So it doesn't move too much. This is just me kind of guessing. And I'll put a little bit on the bottom, but not much because it's acetate and I don't think it'll even do anything. All right, let's see. I'm going to squish this that way so that the glue doesn't go inward. And then I'll put this on the outside of this. So, and then I have to glue this. Now, this should be safe to glue completely. Don't get glue all over the place. Glue on my fingers. Let's see if it's super wet still. It's probably super wet still, but let's try it. Make sure it fits in there snugly. Perfect. That's good. I like it. All right. So we've got our pocket. So we definitely don't want to glue our pocket. We do want to go ahead and glue this edge. So much of that thick paper. It's going to tear off as much as I can. There. Just don't want all that bulk. I'm just going to glue this. This is just the edge of our pocket. Down first. It's just for reinforcement. And then this is going to go like this. And then our pocket, a little bit, you know, you'll see like that much of it. It's not a big deal if it's white. Do I have anything I could cover it with? I could maybe cover it with a book page or something. Or some of that tissue. I don't want to go too thick. What do we got here? What if I put a book page in there? At least it's not boring. Let's do that. That way our pocket will have something to it. Uh-oh, what'd I miss? Hold on. Anything? Somebody said something. Deborah says it's always so iffy. Should I? Shouldn't I? Yeah, I know, right? It really is. I have to think about it. And you try to think, you know, 4 steps ahead of what you're doing. I'm trying to pick up a book page that I don't really care about. I haven't checked all the words on these, so we'll put it on the inside so it doesn't matter. Just don't be reading it right now. Don't be reading it because I don't know what it says. All right, so I'm going to just make this fit inside for a pocket. So I'll trim that one there. And I'll trim this one for this side. Ooh, we need this direction. Hold on. Let me find a piece that's got that direction. There's one. This one. This is just going to be a lining, so our pocket's not quite so ugly. I don't know what I'm going to cover the rest of it with yet. I have no idea. That is yet to be seen. It might be a stencil. That's what I'm kind of thinking maybe. I might just do this with glue stick though. There, and then this side. Do I really care if the writing goes up to the edge? So I want the writing to be, yeah, I'm just gonna have the writing go up to the edge. If I can line her up. So it doesn't have to be, it's really crooked, that deep. It's not a big deal. That way we'll have writing right up to the edge. Okay. All right, so we're gonna cover this, cover this. This is going on the outside, so I'm gonna leave that out for now. And this is going straight over our little pocket where our bookmark goes, okay? Because we don't need any of that to show. For the least amount of, yeah, I'm gonna use a glue stick. It's not my favorite, but I think it's the best option for this. So this is gonna go like that. So we're gonna do this side. Glue stick, where are you hiding? There you are. All right, let's see if we can do this. I don't care how long it is because the edges will get glued still. As long as it's not over, and it's not. Try to get a decent amount of glue on here. I could also put glue on the other part too. But I think this will be alright. Alright, so this is going to go here. See if we can get it on there somewhat straight. I don't need it to go exactly to the edge. We're going to stay like a 1/16 of an inch in. See how that works. Well, it's very crooked. It's okay. It's just going to be crooked because I ain't picking that up. I'll try to be better on the other one. It's a little bit crooked. Alright, let's try to be better on this one. I want this one to go this way, so glue on this side. I'll try to line it up better. Hold on. Ran it. I'm trying to look at it from an angle. It's the only way I can tell if there's actually glue everywhere. All right, let's line this up better this time. Maybe. I'm just making sure I'm going the right way. Not that it's a big deal, but it doesn't really matter if it's upside down, I guess. There. A little bit better that time. All right, there. Now our pocket is going to be lined. So that'll be our pocket. Should be fine. Tiny bit crooked here, but short of cutting it, which I could do, just so it's not so obvious that it's really crooked. See if I can trim that off. There. Not quite as obvious that it's really, really crooked. I'm going to reinforce this edge if there's any parts that are needing it. It's actually sticking pretty well for now. Surprising. All right, so there's that, there's that. It's going to go that direction. So still in the right 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4. Yeah, we're a good size. I think we're okay. And so for this part, we want glue on this top edge. It should match up. And then we want, I don't want glue there, so I want glue here. You know, I'll put a tiny bit of glue right on the fold. I don't want too much glue there because I don't want it to affect my pocket on that side too much. So we'll glue that down. That's that. And then this side, I'm going to glue here. And to close that side off. All right, so now we have our pocket. Okay, pretty much the whole length. And then we have our bookmark spot. Like that. There. Cool. So it's like a double pocket bookmark holder. So you don't see where the bookmark is in there, but the bookmark is just on the outside. Okay. And then we'll have to figure out what to make it pretty with. But the construction is done. Took longer than I thought. Everything always does. All the time. But that's okay. So that one will fit in there for sure. If you wanted to put a different bookmark in there, where's that other one? Let's see how bad it fits. It could fit. It would still show the edges, but if I put a little tab up there or another strip of that paper, this pink is pretty. I could put this on there, and that could go somewhere too. I might go ahead and just put a hole in this. What time is it? I'm okay. About here. Let's go ahead and throw that on there. What color do we have? Let's go with, we'll do the black. I don't have like a rose gold or anything. Just go with black. All right. That. Debating if I want it this thick. I might actually go half of this. No idea how well this will tear, but I'm going to attempt to tear it. Pretty much tears like paper. I'm sure it's just paper, but it's kind of plasticky feeling. Just a little bit. I just didn't want it quite that big. But the pink works. Tie it. I don't trust how strong that is. So I'm not pulling super, super hard, but I'm going to just glue it on there. I don't want to pull it so hard that it rips it. It feels relatively strong, but you know, it's not crazy strong. So there, we get a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue. Let's just tear it off even. Okay. So you could probably switch out bookmarks on it and have different ones. Either would work fine. But it does fit completely in the window with this one. Okay. All right. And then let's see how it's going to fit on the page. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it just on the page itself. I could do it as a flip out too. I mean, a flip out pocket. I don't know how I feel about a flip out pocket. I mean, I guess I could. Just have to decide if I want to do that. Debating. I may just glue it straight to that. I haven't decided. And I don't want to do it until I stencil it or whatever I'm going to do. But I may just glue it straight to that brown piece. I just don't know if I want that brown piece or if I want to pick the lighter piece. Fortune cookie's going on the other side of that, so it's already going to be bulky. So I could possibly put it in the other one. Let me see what's in the other one. This one or that other one? That's the other one. Grabbing things I'm not supposed to be grabbing. This one has white. I kind of like the white on it better. So I think I'm going to put it there. So change of plans. We're not going to put it on this one. We'll put it on that one. So this is where it's going to go on the second page here. And I'll probably just glue it to that. And it'll be its own little pocket once I glue it down. So we don't have to worry about decorating that side if I glue it. We just have to worry about decorating this side, which I will do next live because I don't have time. It took me too long, but that's okay. We'll get it done sooner or later. Not sure what I have that I could decorate that with. Something pretty, I'm sure. Blank, so whatever I put there, we can make blend with the colors we choose. And then go from there, really. But I've got, what do I have? I have animals and birds. I have flowers still. I have just colors. Which I could just do colors. But I don't want, it's so busy already. I don't think I want to do anything too busy. So maybe just a stencil. That's the only, maybe a stencil and then maybe a highlight picture. See if I have anything that would look good with books. It has to be tall too, ideally. Which that might be a challenge. Not sure what I have in here. It's a bunny rabbit. He's too big. Everything I have here is going to be too big. Butterflies, tigers, birds. Yeah, all this is too big. I'll have to look and see what I have. Maybe I can find something that would fit there. I might have flowers. I've still got quite a few of these flower edges. So I have these roses. Cut that bud off. I'm not sure how well it matches. I mean, there is some pink there, I guess. I've used this already once. I don't know if I want to use it again. Might end up using those roses. Or anything else tall and skinny. Of these sunflowers. Not quite. Yeah, it's all of my tall and skinnies for now. So the roses of what I have so far is the only one that is feasible, really. And I would definitely remove these buds. And this flower leaf. And then just have roses. And I could throw a little bit of paint on there or something if I want to get rid of that. Throw a little bit of gesso or something on it. So maybe I'll put the roses on there. But my time is up, so I can't do it tonight. So that's something for we can do on Friday. So y'all come back, we'll finish this up, and then we'll do our other project, whatever that might be. I have no idea yet, but this is probably what I'll use, I'm guessing. It's really the only thing I see, and then maybe something under it. Could just be a color with some stenciling or some inking or something, I don't know. Something like that. Alright guys, that is our project. I hope you guys had fun with that. So, a little, I'll just pull that off, a little bookmark pocket. And we'll make a tag to go in there of some sort. Like I said, it'll probably be something made with this. I'll have to make it a little bit smaller, but that should fit in there pretty good. Yeah, you might need a little tab or something, but we'll make something with that. All right, guys, that's cute. I like the little holder. I think it's fun. All right. Okay, y'all take care. I will see you guys on Friday. Have a good rest of your evening. All right, bye-bye.